Hello viewers, today we're working on a 2012 Kia Optima with the 2.4 liter engine, and we are going to be replacing the serpentine belt on this. I'm just using the Gates aftermarket drive belt or serpentine belt. Here's the part number. So the customer requested that they wanted to replace the serpentine belt, so we are going to be replacing it today. In order to find the tensioner, you will need to tug on the belt, to push down on the belt, and you will be able to see on which one is the tensioner. So you can push down on the belt, and you can see that the tensioner is moving. So this one here is the tensioner. So this is a 17 millimeter. I'm using a long wrench. You can use a serpentine belt tool if you want. So now I'm just going to push the wrench towards this way, towards the rear of the vehicle. You are going to push it away from you. So we are going to push it to relieve the tension. Then you should be able to slip off the belt. And then slowly to relieve the tension back. And sometimes the wrench is going to get stuck on there. So we're just going to leave the wrench there for now. It's stuck on there. So just if your wrench is stuck on the tensioner, you can just lift up on the wrench and to take the belt off and slowly relieve the tension in a controlled fashion. One thing I forgot to mention is to make sure that you draw a routing diagram first before you take off the belt. I will put a better picture of this on the screen for you guys to see. Just make sure you draw a diagram first before you take off the belt. So this is the old belt. Has an aftermarket Deco belt. You can see the part number here, 6PK 2135S. This is a 6PK 2134. This is in millimeters. So it's 1 millimeter less. So it should still work. It shouldn't be a problem. Just make sure that you compare the belts and make sure that they are the same length and the same number of ribs. Sometimes you can put the belt on the side mirror and to verify that you have the correct length belt, or you can try to put it on the handle of the vise to make sure that you have the same length. If you have a vise at home, you can put it on the handle of a vise and to see if the belt is the same length, to make sure that you have the correct part. So the next thing you want to do is to inspect the pulleys for any play or noises inside the bearing. Have a look at all of the pulleys to make sure they are spinning freely and they're not making any noises. Ideally, you should be replacing the tensioner and all of the associated idlers so that you have a problem-free accessory drive system. But in this case, you're just only replacing the belt today. So we're going to install a new belt. It's in the opposite of a removal. You want to start at the furthest pulley first. So in this case would be the water pump that's in the back, and then work your way down to the AC air conditioner pulley and the crank. So the water pump pulley is in the back, so I'm working my way through. I can't show everything exactly on camera, so I'm just doing on what I can now, because I have to get this done. I'm working in the shop, so I can't film in great detail. I'm just going to temporarily bring this up. I still have the wrench on there. So now I have the belt partially on here. I just need to grab the belt from the lower side to put it on the crank and over the tensioner, and then later I'm going to take it off from here on top of the idler. Now typically I do this from under the hood only, but I may have to do it on the side and where the wheel is, because I don't have my belt fishing tool at the moment. It allows you to grab the belt from a very far distance in areas in which you are not able to reach. So now I have everything rerouted. I just don't have it on the alternator. So when we relieve the tensioner, then we are going to put it on the alternator last. I forced the wrench out off camera. I tapped the wrench out to get it off the tensioner because it was getting too difficult to put the belt on. So this one is a little bit of a tricky one, so I couldn't show everything on camera here, unfortunately. So I'm going to put it back on now. So we have the tensioner here. Try to put it as low as possible, and we are going to grab the belt on where the air conditioner is. See if we can put it on the alternator, if possible. If not, we have to do it on the other pulleys then. It's easier to put it on one of the smooth pulleys last, because that's gonna be easier to put it on that way. So we will see. Typically you should try to put it on the closer pulleys, which will make it easier. So just make sure everything is all on the pulleys, and then you should be all good to go. Make sure it's not riding on the edges of the pulleys. So what I did is I put it on, I was over here on the alternator and on the idler. I just ended up using a shorter wrench so I can go through the entire range for the tensioner. Placed it more in a downward fashion like this, and I went towards like this all the way up the entire range. That's why I was having a hard time trying to put the belt on. So now it's on. I ended up putting it on the water pump pulley last at the very end, just in the back here, as I was trying to hold down on the wrench. It's not the easiest way to do it, but that's the way I ended up doing it. I spilled some coolant on the way because I was hitting this line here, and the line it came off. So I would need to top up the coolant. Just be careful to not hit the coolant line here, because I spilled some coolant, so I will need to top it up. Top up the spilled coolant, and you check there, and it's all full. And we're just going to wash the herein after, and that's it.